Hey, Platinum Fox here, you can call me Plat, and today we are back with another massive Ice and Fire update. And this one I am very excited for. I've been waiting for this one for a very long time. It had tons and tons of stuff I think you're going to like. So we're going to try to cover as much as everything as I can. If I forget anything, let me know down in the comments so I can maybe pin it or let other people know. If I forget anything, again, this update is huge, so I probably will. While you're down there, if you want to, leave a like and subscribe. Now let's get right into it. So you guys know how this goes. We're going to start off with some items and some blocks, and then we're going to slowly progress on to the cooler things that this update has to offer, and it is pretty exciting. So first things first, we have ice spikes. Ice spikes are now craftable with dragon ice. Well, how do you get the dragon ice, you might ask? Well, dragon ice is now craftable itself. So we come over here. This is dragon ice. Now, dragon ice can be crafted with any of the materials that are created by dragon's breath. You know, dragon, like dragon grass, dragon ice grass, pathways, gravel, stone, splinters, which is like frozen wood. So just any combination of those filling all 9 slots in the crafting grid will give you dragon ice. Now, in a similar fashion, ash can now be crafted. Again, you just use charred gravel, dirt, stone, whatever, it doesn't matter. All the fire block stuff that's created by dragons, you can now craft into ash. And there it is right there. You can see that. And on a side note, both the dragon ash blocks and the ice blocks, when they are created by a dragon, they will now despawn slowly over time. So if you want to get them and you want to craft these blocks for ice spikes and stuff, you gotta work fast. And ash is used for something else now. So you can now use dragon ash to create charcoal. So you can now make fuel sources from the destruction of your dragons or even wild dragons, which is pretty nice because, I mean, we've all seen the destruction. It's pretty bad. There's a lot of it. So at least you can get some cooking sources out of that. Now, there's a new block, dragon scale blocks. Now, these are going to be incredibly important down the line. You'll see why, but it's just 9 dragon scales, and they do come in the other multitude of colors that the dragons do. These are for the fire dragons. And if we move right on over here, we got the ice dragons. And the ice dragons are the same fashion as the fire dragons, just 9 scales, and they do indeed come in all the colors here. So let's just go down to the next. Now, there is another new scale block, and that scale block is going to be the sea serpent scale block, and it comes in all the colors. You can see the blues, the oranges, the greens, the reds, the purples, and it's just 9 scales. And if we come around this corner, we get into another new block that the game adds, dragon bone blocks. You can now store all those dragon bones in one easy block that you kill. Looks like a little bundle of bones, nicely stacked for your organization needs. And it's simply just 9 dragon bones. And on top of that, you can now create dragon bone walls. If you want a wall of bones, this mod has you covered. You just use 6 dragon bones in a fashion like so, and then you get the dragon bone block wall. Here is a smelting recipe. Previous versions of Ice and Fire, the resin glass, the Mirmex resin glass for desert and the jungle have been uncraftable. Well, now simply by smelting the hardened resin blocks, you will now get the glass. So that's pretty nifty. And moving on, we have okay, so this is the new Dragon Forge block. Now this is going to be incredibly important for this update to make so many cool things. So this creates the Dragon Forge block, and it is used 5 dragon scale blocks. So you are going to need a lot of dragon scales for this, and it gives you, and you're also going to need some stone bricks. And this will give you 4 of the Dragon Forge blocks, and there is an also ice variant, but you do have to use ice dragon scale blocks. Coming over here, we have another block, because this forge is a multi-structure block. You'll see it in just a second. And then later on, stick around because I'm going to show you what it does, and it is pretty cool. So this is the Dragon Forge Aperture, and this is created by 4 of those Dragon Forge brick blocks. and 4 iron ingots. And then the last bit, dragon hearts finally have a use. Ladies and gentlemen, this is amazing. So you're going to need 8 of those Dragon Forge brick blocks and a 1 dragon heart. And if you're going to use the ice variant, you just use the ice blocks and an ice dragon heart. And I'll show you the ice variant in a little bit. But this creates the Dragon Forge core. There's the ice variant for you. And all these blocks combined into a multi-structure create a structure like so. This is the Dragon Forge. And this is going to be used to create some amazing new materials called Dragon Forged Steel. Now there is a fire variant, here we go, and an ice variant. Now those are the 2 variants for the Dragon Forged Steel, and these are going to be used to make some incredible, powerful weapons and armor for you and your dragon. And let's get right into it. And I mean, I gotta say, this armor is some of the best armor I have seen in the mod. So here we go. The armor recipes are going to be the same, but as normal armor in most mods and vanilla. Just, 5 ingots for a hat and so on and so forth. But this is the Fire Dragon Forged Steel helmet. And here's the fire variant, and then here's the ice variant. You just use the Ice Dragon Steel variant to create it. And here we go. We have the chest plates. You can see what those look like right there. Crafting recipe if you need it. And we're just going to move on to the pants, the steel pants. And there you go. And then last but not least, the boots. And again, just the vanilla crafting recipes. And this armor, when it is completely full together, looks absolutely stunning. I mean, look at this armor. Like, it has the horns of the dragons, and the dragons have been remodeled. I'll get to those later. Those are very cool. And the dragon steel does work on dragon armor. So this is how you craft the dragon steel armor. This is the fire forge, the fire variant. And there is an ice variant, and as well a 3rd armor set has been added. This is just using silver blocks, but there is now silver dragon armor. I will show these off later when we get to the dragons. And yeah, so there are 3 new armor sets. 2 of them you're going to need that dragon forge to make, and they are incredibly expensive, and I'll show you why later. I mean, the forge alone is expensive, but there's silver and dragon armor now, and it's the same. They're all the same recipe, just with their different metals. So here is the variant for the neck piece of the dragons, and I will show you the silver and the ice steel variant. And then we're going to move on to the body, the main body. There's that crafting recipe for you and your viewing pleasure. And last but not least, we come down close at the tail. Just three blocks in that fashion, right there like a tail. And there's silver and ice dragon steel variants as well. Now there are weapons. Now these weapons are pretty powerful weapons. They do 25 damage each, and they also have respective elemental properties, and they are extremely strong. And the recipe is, as you would think, just a necrotic bone like a regular dragon sword, but you're going to need 2 ingots from the dragon forge of either the variant of the ice or the fire, and you got a glimpse of these over there with the armor sets. And the sword's durability, if you're curious, is 8,000. 8,000 durability. That is correct. That is an insane amount of durability for any tool in Minecraft. So these are going to last you a very long time. And there is an axe, and I do love the design of this axe. This axe looks as gorgeous in your hand as it does in an item frame. Crafted the same way as you would think an axe is crafted. You're just going to need some of that necrotic bone and the dragon steel of your preferable species of dragon, ice or fire. And there's the fire variant for you. And we come over here. There does come in a pickaxe, so you can make these incredibly strong pickaxes. And there is shovels for it. Again, same crafting recipe. You would think you're just going to need necrotic bones instead of sticks for that vanilla recipe. And 1 dragon steel ingot of your choosing. And as you would think, to complete the tool set for all of your gardening needs, there is a dragon steel hoe. And that does come in ice and fire variants. I think this thing would decimate any garden you used it on. So yeah. So we're gonna move into a few more items before we move into some amazing new stuff that this mod adds. I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be just so awesome hunting down creatures now. But before we get to that, we got to go through the chains. Now the chain is right next there, but first you gotta make a chain link. So to make a chain link, you just use 4 iron nuggets, just in that little diamond pattern right there. And we're just gonna move on over here, and you're gonna need a total of 5 chain links to make a chain. Now the chain is pretty cool. It does not break like a lead. You can tie it to walls, because I mean it's a chain. The fence isn't gonna hold that sucker down. And you can also make the chain a little sticky with some slime as we come over here. And you can now have animals, mobs, tied to each other. If you wanted, for whatever reason, to tie a dog, a wild wolf to a sheep and watch that show happen, you could now do that. See that sheep run and see that dog run. Or any mobs. Or most mobs, I should say. It will lose its stickiness after the chain, after you remove the chain, though. So you will have to reapply the glue to stick the mobs together. And as we come over here, ladies and gentlemen, is the first legendary weapon we're going to cover. There is a plethora of legendary weapons in this mod now. Rare drops like the Hippogriff Talon, and you can now craft legendary weapons. And you can now have legendary weapons you can craft. Now, that Talon is a rare drop. All the new items from the mod are rare drops. So if you're lucky enough to get a drop from these, all the creatures that have legendary weapons now, you can now craft one of these legendary weapons. So I'm going to select this sword here, and I'm going to spawn in a husk. And we're going to see, now the sword has special properties. It always slashes targets, dealing extra damage. So now sometimes when you hold shift in Minecraft and you get that slashing swiping effect, well, this always does it. So you can see that little white bar is the slash effect in Minecraft. This is going to be great in the future updates, considering that they removed it in 1.14, I think. I'm pretty sure that was removed. So let's move on to the next one. Now this one is the Pixie Wand. Now the Pixie Wand is pretty cool, so I'm just gonna grab it right here, and we're gonna spawn in another husk. And this wand deals a little bit of damage. I believe it deals 5 damage, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 5 damage, and it levitates people that hit it. So you shoot it, and the zombie just took 5 damage, and he's just gonna float. And yeah, so yeah, the Pixie Wand is very neat, very cool. You just craft it with a blaze rod and a diamond, and that's it. If you can get those pixie wing drops, and you got yourself a wand. Now the next item on our list is the Siren Flute, crafted with 7 shiny scales, a new Siren's Tear, and a Dragon Flute. And once you get this flute, it makes people fall in love. For 10 seconds it will do this, and mobs won't attack you. So if we spawn in another husk, and I hit it, I'm gonna go into survival mode, and he's gonna attack me. And if I blow the flute, he is not going to attack me for 10 seconds. Now this thing has an incredibly long cooldown, as you can see. It's barely going down. We'll just let him wander off. But yeah, that is the Siren Flute, and again, it's still on cooldown. It's a very powerful weapon, as you can see. And so yeah, let's move on to the next legendary weapon. Now this legendary weapon is so cool, I think. So I'm gonna get rid of that flesh, and you can now wear the head of a deathworm on your arm. This is the Deathworm Gauntlet, crafted. Comes in all 3 colors, just whatever color you want. You gotta have the Deathworm Chitin, I believe it's called, for whatever color, red, tan, or white. So the white one's in the crafting bench right now, and I'm gonna select it. And you just need a Deathworm Tongue, which is, again, another rare drop, and a chain to make this. And when you click it, it shoots out a tongue. So if I spawn in another husk, this one's a baby. Hello, baby. I'm sorry. You can now kidnap this baby and bring it closer to you, because the tongue will grab any mob and bring it to you. So you can even put this in your offhand slot with a sword, bring something closer to you and smack it. Just smack it with the sword as it comes closer to you. Pretty interesting mechanic for Minecraft. And I love it. I mean, the way it looks on your hand, I'll put it back on my hand real quick. It doesn't look, you don't see the tongue on your arm, but it just looks like you have this head on your hand. And it does something so cool. I love it. And the next legendary weapon on our list is the Stymphalian Bird Feather Bundle. Now this is pretty interesting. This is an area of effect weapon. So if you click it, it shoots arrows. I see I just hit them there. It shoots arrows in 8 directions around you. And it's a pretty cool weapon. And it's just crafted with 8 Stymphalian birds feathers and 1 string. So yeah, if you're, come across a flock of metal birds and you get enough feathers, you can craft one of these bad boys and have area of effect damage. The next legendary weapon on our list is related to the Stymphalian bird again. This is the Stymphalian Bird Dagger. Now, the Stymphalian Bird Dagger has a very fast, I don't know if you could see it there. There you can kind of see this cooldown bar in the sky, but it has a very fast cooldown because it is a dagger. So you can hit things a lot faster, and I believe it does 3 damage. No, it does 6 damage. The speed is 3, as you can see. So it is a pretty fast weapon you can use that does a decent amount of damage. And yeah, that is another legendary weapon from the Stymphalian bird. So the next weapon is pretty cool. This one is pretty awesome. So this is the Desert Myrmex Swarm. There is also a jungle variant. It is crafted in the same way that you see the desert one here, just using jungle eggs and jungle hardened resin. But the eggs do not matter. You can use any eggs, mixture of eggs if you want. But when you have one of these in your hand, this spawns a small swarm of little tiny desert Myrmex that will follow you and attack for you for 30 seconds. So I'm going to spawn in this husk again, and I'm just going to click this thing, and there they go. There's the swarm. And if I attack this husk, there we go. They're starting to attack it a little bit. They're swarming him up, and they should only last for about 30 seconds. And he's dead. And this does have a long cooldown as well. You can't spam it. But these guys will just follow you around. And, oh, there's the Ice Dragon Forage, the ice variant. And we'll show you what the forages do later. So, yeah, pretty cool. This is, again, another interesting mechanic to have a swarm of bugs around you. I just love these legendary weapons ideas so much. Okay, now this is the Cockatrice Scepter. Now, this scepter, if you can get that rare Cockatrice eye drop, it's just crafted with a Witherbone and a Witherbone shard. And this scepter deals wither damage to anybody you look at. It is a legendary weapon. And so we're just going to spawn in another husk. Man, these poor husks. Okay, I'm not going to break. And I'm just going to click it and look at it. And I'm very slow right now. I'm barely moving. I am not sneaking at all. And if I sneak, I move even slower. But you can see, I just got to look at something and deal wither damage to it. So again, yet another powerful legendary weapon if you can get that rare eye drop, because these are very rare drops. So moving around the corner here, we have the Cyclops Eye. Now the Cyclops Eye cannot be crafted, hence no crafting grid. But if you can get one of these bad boys, it applies weakness to anybody around him. You can see the particles coming off the husk now, because he has weakness. So should be able to kill a little bit sooner. And area of effect, it inflicts weakness to all hostile enemies when held. So this could be something you hold in your offhand to apply weakness to mobs. That's pretty cool. This is called the Amphitheater Masuhutl. I have no clue what that word is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna call this the Amphitheater Paddle. It is crafted with 4 obsidian, 2 planks of any kind, a stick, and 2 amphitheater feathers. And this paddle, this bird spanker, when you hit stuff, it knocks them back and up. So, and you get that wind effect from the amphitheaters, like the arrows. So that's pretty cool that it does that. So this is the Amphitheater Makuatl. Honestly, I have no clue. It's the bird spanker. It's the amphitheater paddle. So next we have the Tide Guardian Trident, and there you go. That thing just looks amazing. So I'm just gonna select that there and hold that. It's crafted with 3 sea serpent fangs, 1 diamond, 1 dragon bone, and 2 of any color sea serpent scales. Now this thing goes through multiple enemies, I believe. Let's just double check that. Very strong trident. Pierces through multiple enemies. Yes, it does. And I'm gonna spawn in a husk, and I'm just gonna throw this sucker, and it just launches and bounces off objects. And as you can see there, we got another little sneak peek of what I was about to show you after I finished the advancements. So you can see that tridents are very, very strong. And it's going to be a useful tool underwater. And the final legendary weapon that Ice and Fire has is the Hippocampus Slapper. Now, this is a legendary comical weapon because it's confusing to get hit with a giant fishtail. And it is simply crafted by using 1 hippocampus fin, which is a rare drop, and 1 stick. So, for demonstrating this, peasant, where are you? Come forth, peasant.
You summoned me. Spank me, sire.
You may leave, peasant. Thank you. This last item is not obtainable in survival at all. This is Creative Dragon Meal. This will instantly tame any wild dragon you find in creative mode. So you no longer have to breed dragons if you just want to mess around with one and grow them up really quickly with some regular dragon steroids. You can now just find a wild one, click it on it with this if you're in creative mode, and bada bing, bada boom, there you go. That's all you needed to do. And last but not least are banners. There are 15 new banners included in this update. And there they all are for you. And the items to craft those banners are all on this wall. So take a quick look. Pause if you have to. Look at all these items. And that is what you are going to need to craft any of these banners you like. Pretty cool. I love these banners. They're awesome. I'm so happy they exist. So there's some other stuff that have been added. Skulls. Skulls are now a thing, as you might have noticed right there. So here we have the Stymphalian bird skull, and it can be placed on walls and blocks just like that. There's a nice good look at that skull. Moving on, we got amphitheater skeleton skull. So these are now drops from amphitheaters. There is that skeleton. Coming around, looking at this fountain, we have the sea serpent skull. Now this thing just looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Glad that sea serpents finally have a skull you can get from them. Dragons. Dragons are now completely redone. You can see the horns have a slight more curve look to them, and that's for a good reason. And dragon skulls are a little bit redone. There's the fire version. And here is the ice version, all done with that new model shine. And just a few more skulls were added to the game. It's pretty exciting stuff for new trophies, new legendary weapons, new trophies, all cool things. So this is the hippogriff skull. Hippogriffs now have skulls, and you can see it looks like a little horse bird skull like hippogriffs do. Pretty cool. Another skull that was added is the cockatrice skull. Looks like a wither skull with a beak. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Very fitting. I love it. And another skull, trolls. Trolls now drop skulls. Look at those tusks. Not want to get speared with one of those things. But yeah, and last but not least, the Cyclops skull. And you can see this thing's about as tall as a player. It's pretty big. But yeah, so now trophy systems are now in the game. Legendary drops, legendary weapons, all cool stuff. And along with all that stuff are advancements. Now, advancements are so cool. I love them. I'm finally glad they made their way back into the game. Because they were here in an older version of the mod, and then they were gone for a while. But advancements, enter the world, you get advancement, and then you just go from there. So cool. I'm so happy they're back in the game. And yeah, I'm so glad they're back. So that's it for all the items, everything. We're gonna go take a look at the dragons and the forge and a couple new things, and I'll see you there. So here are dragons. Now, as you can see, dragons now look a little different. They were completely remodeled. And remember that the horn curve I was talking about? Well, that is because you can now tell the difference between male and female dragons, which is amazing. You can now tell if dragons look different, instead of having to randomly get lucky when fighting them. So curved horns and clean wings equal female dragons, and this is sporting that fire dragon steel armor. So you can see that there. And now if we come over to the ice dragons, now these are kind of smushed together. Let me just push this one away. This is ice dragon steel armor on a female ice dragon. Again, you can see the horns are a little bit curvy. They have clean wings. Male dragons, and you can now see this through Wyla as well. Stage 3, the health male. Male dragons now have amazing new wing patterns. They have wing spots, and their horns are a lot more straighter than the female variants. And this dragon, the male, is sporting the silver dragon armor, and this is the ice dragon steel armor. Now let's go talk about these forges. I'm sure you've seen them up there. You saw the ice, you saw the fire versions. Here's what the forge looks like when it is all complete. But how do you build it? What's inside of this thing? What makes it tick? Well, what makes it tick is that dragon core that you built in with the dragon heart. And all you do to build one of these is you're going to take 4 dragon bone blocks, put them on the bottom like this on the corners of a 3x3 square, fill the rest in with the dragon forge bricks. That's the first layer. The second layer, you're just gonna do a dragon forge aperture on one side, doesn't matter where, just on one side, and then you're gonna do the core in the middle and just fill the rest in with those bricks. And again, remember, these bricks cost 5 dragon scale blocks, so you're gonna have to hunt a lot of dragons to get these bricks. Now, the top layer is 4 more dragon bones blocks, and just fill the rest in with dragon bricks, and you have yourself one forge. Now, what do you do in the forge? The forge is how you make dragon steel, that super extremely OP metal, the amazing looking armor for both dragons and yourself. And all you do to this, for fire dragon steel, you're gonna need iron ingots and dragon's blood. Now, it's not going to do anything yet, because, and the reason this is out here in a field, this is going to get messy. To power one of these bad boys, you're going to need a dragon. So I'm going to hop on this guy. I'm going to walk on over here, and they have new animations. So this dragon is staying currently, and if I hop off of him, I can either do it manually by pushing R. They're going to breathe into that little hole, so if I hop off him, he should start doing it manually. There you go. Now I have the sounds turned off. Turning them on there, and this is very low, you could see that they just constantly create a sound. And here's some of the new animations that were added. They just have that realistic head jiggle while breathing, but they're gonna breathe right into that hole, and again, they can miss and they can get your whole area covered in ash, so be careful where you put it. And they're gonna just do it. And now if you look inside here, this is gonna be filling up all the way to this white level, and it takes a long time, so this stuff really is hard to get. And 1 bottle and 1 ingot is all you need, and you do the same thing for the ice forges, but you're just gonna need ice dragon blood instead. So that's the forges for you. And I'm gonna give this guy a break here, and I'm gonna stop him. But yeah, tame dragons will do it. Wild dragons will do it too. Remember those chains? Well, if you can somehow trap a wild dragon to walls and have him look at one of these, they will do it for you. They will do your bidding for you. So that's pretty cool. Dragon's animations have been redone, so I'm gonna hop on this sucker, and if we fly, you can see like we're going up at a pretty fast rate. They now turn slightly when you turn. And they have a bunch of other cool stuff, so I'm gonna show you one more cool thing after I land. So the dragons now have an escort AI where they will now follow you, and if you have multiple dragons tamed, they should even follow you while flying, which is so cool. Now there's a couple more things about dragons before we wrap up here. And let's go find out. So Ice and Fire dragons, their roosts now spawn more interestingly. And they look so amazing. I'm so happy that they did this. No longer are they just perfect circles in your land, but they now have an actual nest-like feeling. So they now have outcroppings and three-dimensional rocks and everything that will spawn around them. It literally looks so cool and so nice. And I love this revamp update for the dragons. It looks so cool. And male dragons will have more loot than female dragons that spawn. And there's also another little surprise for underground dragon caverns. So here we are at an underground dragon cavern, and I am in spectator mode. Now, as you can see, they are now way different shaped. They are now very much more cave-like instead of a sphere. And there's a lot more loot. Now, fire dragons, and this is a male dragons, because you can see because of the spots, they will have more loot in their caves than females. So now if you want more loot, you can raid a fire dragon nest if you come across one of these layers underground. Or if you are looking for eggs, you can now easily identify a female. It's so cool, and the caves just look so awesome. With all the stalactites and stalagmites and just the more three-dimensional pattern for them. I'm just so excited that everything in this update just got like a little nice touch to it, a little more clean. I'm so happy for this update. Well, that's about it for this update. I hope you liked everything. Go and thank Alex and Raptor Farian in the Ice and Fire Discord server. Link will be in the description. Again, they do an amazing job. Download the mod. Please go check it out. It's so cool now. It's always been cool, and they just made it even better. Go get the new OP gear. Farm it. Get it. Look amazing in that armor. And just enjoy the mod. I love it. I'm so happy that this update finally came out. Been waiting for it for a long time. So yeah, that'll be it. If you like, subscribe if you want more, if you like what you see, and that'll be it. See you next time. Bye.